without being hungry, right? Because I'm distracted by work. But what we need to talk about today is the little 2026 great coaching scandal, right? On social media recently, there's been some influencers that have been exposed for just not having a care in the world for their clients, giving copy paste Google Doc plans. And, I'm not even here to hate on them or talk about how unethical that is, or talk about, the fact that if you're going to have someone pay for a premium service of coaching, like, you have to give them what they deserve and what they pay for, because fulfillment is the backbone of a business. And if you don't fulfill and you don't get good results and you don't give your clients the experience that they deserve, your business will come crumbling down. Fulfillment's the backbone of a business. And so, like, it's all gonna come back to you, right? If you're cutting corners, you're taking the easy route, you're unprofessional, and you don't have care for your clients. The reason AI will never be able to replace coaching and good coaching is not only the knowledge when it comes to decision making, problems, and things like that, but also the fact that you can't replace care for a client, right? I had a client today, a client that I lift with and that I talk to a ton. Today I had to rip him, right? Because I gave him the freedom to track macros, and he's not tracking them good enough, and he's not doing his cardio on the off season, right? The little cardio he's assigned. And so I had to call him out, right? Like, I had to rip him. And as a coach, like, you have to be able to detach from relationships in order to pull the most out of people when it comes from doing what you need to do as a coach. And so, I treat different clients different ways, right? You can tell a lot about a client just by hopping on one call with them, or how they interact, or how they fill out the check-in, or, how much of a perfectionist they are. And so based on that, I'll have different clients that I treat different ways, whether it's, encouraging them to pull the best out of them, ripping them if they need it, or just simply, telling them what they need to do and they get it done. If they're that type of individual, they're disciplined, or, giving them strategies to combat these things, if they simply just need to put the right systems in play to be successful. Or, you have the type of clients that you just need to rip, right? They respect you, they're slacking off, they need you to rip them, and they need that accountability, and then they get it done because they respect you. And he's one of those type of guys. And so I ripped him, right? I called him out, I lectured him, I told him he needs to get it done. I told him, how can you expect your clients to do their cardio if you're not getting yours done yourself? How do you expect to be a bodybuilder if you're not taking the off season seriously? If you're slacking off, like, these habits that are built in the off season, they translate to prep, and every little detail matters from now till leading up to the show. Not because every little detail truly matters, but it compounds, right? One off-plan meal a week, right? One day going over your calories is completely fine. You don't have to live in a box as a bodybuilder. But if you're not focusing on the little details, these things compound, and then they add up, and then they lead into prep with you. Oh, I'm just gonna have a couple more frozen berries. Like, it's not gonna do anything. Oh, I'm just gonna have 20 grams of nut butter instead of 16. And you're doing these every single week in prep, and all it does is just set you back. And then it also sets back your mindset too, because when you commit to something and you don't do it fully, you're lying to yourself essentially. Like, well, if I tell myself, okay, I'm doing 80 minutes of cardio a week, and then I don't get it done, it's like I'm just lying to myself, and I'm just mentally masturbating. But anyway, coaching, right? So these coaches are getting exposed for ChatGPT meal plans and having terrible relationships with their clients, having no care. That is why care is the reason AI will never be able to replace coaching, right? Care, getting the most out of a client, knowing how to treat them psychology-wise, right? Knowing when to push them, when to pull back, knowing the decisions to make, knowing how to problem solve, knowing how to peak them, right? Knowing how to adjust volume in certain times, and and honestly establishing a relationship with them to where they expect you or where they respect you and want to get everything you prescribe, as long as you're prescribing a sustainable plan for them done. And then they progress week after week as a result. At the end of the day, if you're paying a good coach, you're paying for results, right? A good coach will literally guarantee it's not only they just give you a plan, they know how to have a sustainable plan that you can follow, how to get the most out of you psychology wise, and they guarantee elite level results if they're an elite level coach. Because if you're not following it and you're not doing what you need to do to get to the results, they're gonna rip you, or they're gonna do what they think you need in order to get you on that plan to get you there, right? Whether it's, whatever type of approach you take, right? I take different approaches depending on different clients, but that's besides the point. And it's just sad. I've talked to this with other coaches. I just talked about this on Andrew in the podcast previous to this video. Is like, dude, some of these influencer coaches, they charge a ridiculous amount of money, right? These high ticket prices. Like, don't get me wrong, my prices aren't cheap, but I provide the value, and I'm pretty much at my limit for clients of what I want to take on in order to work more one-on-one with them, still be able to travel here and there and not work, 12, 14-hour days, right? Everyone has a certain amount of clients they can handle, and once you get to your cap, you can raise your rates, right? Which is totally fine. But I'm talking about the influencers that charge ridiculous amounts of money for these high ticket programs, and they're not even providing you a custom workout program to your gym. They're just throwing a basic commercial split that's pre-made for you in trainer eyes, and then they give you macros. I've had multiple clients come over from other coaches telling me that they just got macros and a generic push-pull legs workout split. And so it's just if you're gonna charge a lot of money for coaching, you have to fulfill and you have to provide an elite level service. And it's so sad that some of these coaches are just, doing it for the money. And okay, yeah, you could build a successful business, make good money, but you've got to have a successful product, and it'll always come back to bite you if you don't have a successful product. Fulfillment is the backbone of a business. And so, yeah, these coaches it's just all coming back to bite them, right? Because they're money hungry. They're taking on as many clients as they can, and they charge ridiculous pricing for, a copy paste plan that's not worth the value that these clients are paying. And so, yeah, something can definitely be worth a lot of money if it's worth it for the client and the value is there. But these guys are just making online coaches look bad. Now if I'm thinking about it, man, if I was a young kid looking to get into bodybuilding and I saw this situation online, I would be scared of any online coach that they're just gonna scam me, And so these coaches are making it look bad for the rest of us, giving out freaking generic Google Doc workout programs and meal plans and barely talking to their clients and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it just makes all online coaches look bad. So I don't know if any other online coaches are watching this and what you think about the situation, but I just think it's honestly sad. And it happens a lot, especially with these big famous fitness influencers, man, that are just trying to squeeze the most money they can out of their following. And like I said, you can charge a lot of money for a service that's valuable. Dude, my mentor, I pay him a lot of money for his time monthly, and it's worth it to me. He provides the value that I pay for. And other courses and stuff. I paid for J3U, that's $1,000 for a course of videos, right? You're not even talking to the guys, right? To John. But there's so much value in that course, it's worth the money, right? And so you can charge a lot of money as a coach if the value's there, right? If you're capped out, if you retain your clientele. But it's just sad, man. It just makes other online coaches look bad. You guys know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. You can't do this or build any business for the money. Like if you're just chasing money and you forget about your fulfillment, you forget about why you're doing it, you are never going to be successful in the long run, right? You have to want to do this, or you have to want to do any business because you're passionate about it, because you enjoy the good you sell or the service you provide. And so, you know, when you own your own business, you might work a lot. You might work a lot of hours. Today I worked from 7 to 10, a little busier than normal. Just keep in mind, it's not always like this. I've had about like 10 new guys join in the last 2 weeks. So a lot of onboarding stuff, but, like you'll be working a lot if you work for yourself, and you'll work a lot of hours, but you'll never truly work because you love it. Like I love this. I love natural bodybuilding. I love educating my clients on why I have them do stuff, because I believe knowledge is huge for adherence. And I genuinely love the progression and the mental discipline bodybuilding provides, and working with guys mentally post-show as they struggle, as I've struggled before. Man, I so wish I had a coach or a mentor to talk to post-show when all I wanted to do was just eat, and I could care less about my physique. And I was like, I'd rather fulfill this hunger than, you know, care about what I look like. And yeah, it was, dude, post-show can be so bad. And if you don't have a coach to talk to, it can be horrible. But besides that, sorry, kind of going off on a tangent, I genuinely enjoy like talking to my clients and educating them about why I have them do stuff, right? Why I'm having them drink a certain amount of water, have a certain amount of salt, right, on peak week, right? Why this show, you know, it's my second show with the client, you know, this show, we're taking a different approach for the peak than last show. I enjoy walking them through why I do things, because knowledge is huge for adherence. And then also a lot of my other guys are fitness coaches as well. And so I like to teach them, you know, how I do things, why I do things. Anytime I make a programming change, like I've been switching a lot of guys over to the descending rep model. And I enjoy like educating them on why I'm making the change, the science behind it, and the literature behind that. So overall, man, you can't, like, if you love what you do and you love your work and you enjoy providing a good service, like, it's never going to feel like work, and you don't have a problem, you know, pulling these long days and spending a lot of time in front of the computer, wherever your setup is. And so it's just sad that, you know, these guys are trying to make all this money, and it's just super unprofessional, like, you know, just texting their clients, giving them a one-time plan, and, you know, kind of just coasting from there, like just being horrible coaches. And it just makes other online coaches look bad, man. And then these poor clients, they have no idea what a real like high level coaching service is, or what elite level results is, because they get screwed and, you know, not even answered by their coach. I guess I'll say it now too, honestly, dude. I've had like screw it, I've had three or four different consults where guys came over from these previous coaches and said they felt like they weren't getting the attention that you know, they like paid for, honestly, in the service. So it's just like, you know, your reputation precedes you. Whatever is in the dark will always come to light. And so, yeah, those things are super important, guys. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video for other online coaches, I think, because this situation kind of like makes us all look bad. And so I just wanted to talk about how sad it is. But these are the things for you guys if you are looking to find a good coach. So you need to look at their client retention and how long they're retaining clients, right? That's the number one thing, right? If a guy just does, you know, a couple months with someone, or just one show with someone, and they're already leaving and hopping to another coach, right? That might be a bad sign. But if a coach is having guys stay with them year round, it's probably a good sign that they're a good coach. And another thing you can look at is all their clients, right? Do they bring every single client peeled on stage. There's going to be some clients that have better genetics than others, but does every single client come in lights out to the show? Another thing you can look at, right, is not only their bodybuilding results and, you know, someone peaked out in downlighting on show day, but also what their clients look like outside of a bodybuilding show, you know, maybe their lifestyle client transformations, right? And then another thing you can look at is just their overall long form content, right? Looking at their knowledge. Do they post free value, or are they only posting flexing videos, stuff like that? Do they, you know, talk about methods they use or education they have on long form content? You know, and another thing you can do too is just talk with them, like hop with them on a call, see what they have to offer, right? If they're just, you know, texting you in the DMs, and you know, you're paying before even talking to them or seeing what they offer, it's just like, you know, like, I don't know, I personally wouldn't do that. I want to see what you know, the person has to offer. But yeah, another thing too is just like, if it's actually, you know, one-on-one with them, right? If you're getting like feedback from them, you know, whether it be voice memos, whether it be Loom and stuff like that, or is it just like some, you know, dry text that you're getting back on your check-ins? Another thing too is if things are like custom to you, right? If they're building out workout programs for your gym, if they discuss with you, you know, the meal plan they want you on, the macros, right? A special supplements for things you're struggling with, you know, giving you advice on things outside of bodybuilding and stuff like that, right? So, but I'd say don't look at a coach's physique or their best clients. Look at all their clients, and honestly look at their client retention. I think client retention is the best way to see a prep, or see like if a coach is valid. Also, just like, dude, how they speak, like you just tell. Watch like one YouTube video and you can just see if a coach is actually knowledgeable or if they're just, you know, scamming and gonna give you a ChatGPT meal plan, right? So I think long form content is the best way to kind of vet a coach. But it's just super unfortunate, man. Like, and then if you guys don't know the situation, go ahead and just look at this kid's Instagram. Oh, where'd he go? Okay, look up It's Caba Fit, ITSCABAFIT. And so yeah, if you guys don't know the situation, just yeah, look up his Instagram. He has a ton of reels about it. But yeah, it's just sad. It just makes other online coaches that actually care about their clients look bad. And yeah, I'm glad that people are calling him out. And yeah, hopefully he refunds his clients. But super sad to see, man. I think everyone can take that as a lesson to whatever you do. Don't cut corners, you know, don't do things for the money. Do things because you want to build a legacy and build, you know, a name and build a company and help other people and, you know, get results, get people that say you changed their life. There's nothing more fulfilling than that. Don't do things for the money like this guy, and don't cut corners in whatever you do.